We've got another mixture problem, but this time it's one that uses percents. So let's start off by reading the problem. It says Mrs. Matthews has 16 cups of punch that is 3% pineapple juice. She also has a punch that is 33% pineapple juice. How many cups of the 33% punch will she need to add to the 3% punch to obtain a punch that is 20% pineapple juice? So essentially, what we have is we've got 1 cup of juice that has very little pineapple in it, and 1 cup that has a whole lot of pineapple in it. And we want to pour these two together so that we've got one that's sort of a medium pineapple. And just like our mixture problems, we are going to create a table to keep things organized, and we are going to need 3 rows, one for our 3% punch, one for our 33% punch, and one for the overall mixture, which the problem says is going to be a 20% punch. Okay, so that is going to be our set of 3 rows. And then for columns, the first thing is going to be the amount, which in this case we're measuring everything in cups. And then because the thing we're interested in is how much pineapple we have, or the amount of pineapple juice, that's going to be our second column. It's going to be the amount of pineapple juice. I love pineapple juice. It is tasty. I don't love it enough to peel a pineapple, though. Good Lord, peeling a pineapple is a pain. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we can fill in. Let's start with the 3% punch, and it says he's got 16 cups of the 3% punch. So that's going to go, whoops. So that is going to go in the first box here that we have 16 cups. So if we have 16 cups of it, how much of that is pineapple juice? Well, it's a 3% pineapple juice punch. So all we do is take our 16 and multiply it by 3%, which is 0.03. That'll tell us how much is the pineapple juice. Okay. So then let's look at our 33% punch, and we don't know how much of that there is because that's the question. How many cups of 33% punch? So that's going to be our variable. Let's use C for cups. And that means the amount is going to be 33% times C. And then in our last row is where we're going to put our mixture. We don't know how much of our mixture we're going to have because we don't know how much of the 33% we're putting in there, but we do know it's going to be the total of the two. However much 3% and however much 33% there is going to be our total. And we know that it's a 20% solution, so the total is going to be 20%, which is 0.20. It'd be okay if you wrote that as zero point 0.2 times 16 plus C. And so just like every mixture problem, once you've got the table set up, you're good to go. It's going to be this box plus this box equals this box. So our equation is going to be 16 times 0.03 plus 0.33C equals 0.20 or zero point 0.2 times 16 plus C. And so we've got some multiplication to do. 16 times 0.03 is just 16 times 3, which is 48. And then you move the decimal over twice, so 0.48. We can't do anything with the 0.33C quite yet. And then we'll do the distributive property here, 0.2 times 16, that is 2 times 16, which is 32. And then we move the decimal over once, so 3.2. And then we do 0.2 times C, which of course is just 0.2C with a plus sign in the middle. All right. So now we've got, after doing the distributive property, we've got variables on both sides of the equation. So let's go ahead and subtract on both sides. We will subtract the smaller of the two coefficients so that we end up with a positive C. So that's going to give us 0.48. 0.33 subtracting 0.2 is going to give us 0.13. 3.2, and then zero point 0.2 minus 0.2, of course, is going to cancel. It's going to give us 0. So here's what it looks like after doing the subtraction property of equality. Boy, we get a lot of use out of that subtraction property, don't we? Okay, we're going to use the subtraction property again now to isolate the 0.13c. Subtract 0.48 on both sides. Decimals here are getting a little tricky. We may want to at some point use a calculator, if for no other reason than to just make sure we're doing everything right. So 3.2 minus 0.48 is going to give us 2.72. Once again, that is the subtraction property of equality. And then there's only one thing left to do, and that is to divide by the coefficient of the c, 0.13. This is the division property of equality. And 2.72 divided by 0.13 is a longer decimal that we are going to round to 20.9. 20.9 is the numerical answer, but we do want to put it in context. So we're going to say we will need, oh wait, it's not we, is it? We have a name, Mrs. Matthews. Let's give Mrs. Matthews the respect she deserves. Mrs. Matthews needs about 20.9 cups of the, what was it? 33% of the 33% punch. And there we go. Same as most of our mixture problems, except now we're just dealing with percentages, but we still use the same strategy. We set up a table, we use the table to get those final columns that tell us the totals, and then we use the totals to write the